we've been trying. It's been between depression tablets, anxiety tablets, counseling, collapsing, just barely hanging on. Well, look, my sister had been at Life Randfontein just under 2 years. So she was new in the system. When she was moved, I remember we were called for a public meeting at Randfontein, January that year, and we were told the facility is closing. Now remember, I'm saying we knew. So for us, we had literally we were getting used to the system, we were getting used to her being there, and she was actually doing better. And then we were told the facility is closing no March. This is January. Obviously, our heads start spinning, thinking, what do we do? Because she needed care, like full-time care. Fast forward to June, we get an SMS that says she's been moved. End of June, she's been moved to Cullinan today. For 3 weeks after that, we couldn't reach anybody on the phone to find out where she is. Obviously, in between trying to phone the Department of Health, Manamela, anyone who could just help, but nobody was able to help us. Until August, 25th of August, I got a call to say from a lady called Ethel Nube, saying that my sister had passed. She didn't apparently have all my details or any details, so she couldn't tell me that my sister had been with her all this time. That very day we drove. Actually, I waited for my niece to come back home because I needed to break the news to her. We drove to Atteridgeville. We parked outside of Takalani Hospital, waited for Ethel, who never showed up. And then she said, no, the owner of the mortuary is gone. We should come back the next day. This happened for another week of just trying to find my sister, just trying to identify her and get to the bottom of what happened, Eventually Ethel, every day we would call Ethel because she's our only person that we could call, really, because no one else seems to know anything else. I remember the first night she told us, no, the reason why my sister was sent to her was because she had a specialized treatment that she did. And that's why my sister was sent to her. So that was the first night when we were driving to go and see my sister. It turned out it was all a mess. And then she apparently wouldn't answer our calls after that. Then eventually she, in those 5 days, got a company or a undertaker called Put You to Rest to come and meet us at the Shell Garage in Atteridgeville. And they took us to their facility. When we got there, they told us, no, my sister's not there anymore. She had been there too long, so they moved her to storage. So we're like, okay, so what now? And they said, no, we can take you there. Then we asked them, do you have any death certificate? Anything, what happened? And they're like, nope, they don't have anything. They were hoping I was going to give them all this information. So in the file, they had one piece of paper, and it was the EMS report to say that they had fetched my sister from Ethel's place, this precious angels. So I asked for a copy. And then we went to a place called Hebron, which is a past Soshangove. And when we got there, it was a little house. It's not a house per se, it's an old house which they converted into storage off the main road there. And apparently this was now the storage. When we got there, they would at first were reluctant to let me see my sister. And then they said, okay, fine, we can see her, but we can't take her. So when we saw her, it was literally bones, skin and bones. She was so thin. We could at least still recognize it was her. Immediately went out, phoned Section 27 and said, I just can't believe what just happened. And I think for us, that's how the story kind of like unfolded, because they left her in that wheelchair, unattended, not moved, in the cold, didn't give her food, didn't give her water. They even measured how much water she had in her entire body, including the bladder. And she hadn't eaten, so it was no water, no food, no moving, nothing. And being cold on top of all of that. And then force-fed after death with cabbage to make it look like, or they were hoping whoever does a post-mortem will think, oh, at least, or something, I don't know. But it failed because the guy who was doing the post-mortem said it was not even chewed. It must have been post her death, because there was no digestion, no chewing, let alone the digestion. Look, we're never going to get closure. I mean, it's about 8 years already. We've been going through this. My kids are half the people they were back then, you know. I don't even know who I am sometimes, you know. The judgment is not going to give us back anything. If anything, what it's going to say is that they didn't die in vain, 1. 2, hopefully, this judgment will say to the rest of the people in the system, don't try this, because this is what's going to happen to you.